Hello, my dear friends. I am Nidhi Singh, founder NRI Legal Services. Of late, in our offices in the UK, in Canada, and other parts of the world, and also through our online systems, we have been receiving a lot of inquiries of people who have their existing cases going on all over India. These are cases that they want us to file appeals because they have not been able to get relief in the lower courts, or they have been dismissed in default, or somewhere down the line their communication seems to have broken down with their chosen lawyers. Uh, why is this happening? It really makes me wonder. And does it mean that the lawyers all across India are not working, are not giving proper services? And why so many of these cases are coming to us, and especially those who live overseas? Uh, to understand that, you will have to understand the way the legal system in India is structured, the way the litigation is designed, and how a litigation should be carried on. Simply thinking that you have hired a lawyer and that you have paid him a fee, and now he will take care of the entire litigation or representation that you need in India is something that is absolutely not possible. And in fact, it is something that that is the root cause as to why so many problems overseas persons of Indian origin or NRIs face while fighting their cases in India. Uh, to make you understand the situation completely, let me start by telling you what is a typical day in an ordinary lawyer's life in the court and outside the court in his normal day, in his normal business hours. So, a local lawyer goes to the court from morning to evening, comes back at 5 o'clock. Once he is back, in the time span that he has, which is 5 to 8 or 9, he has to take care of 3 or 4 major things. First major thing is that he has to read up on the cases that are next day, and he has to prepare those cases with his team. The number 2 is that he is also waiting to attend to new clients who are waiting to engage him for their matters. And the third, there are these existing clients, the resident clients who are waiting, whose cases are pending with him, and they are there to discuss their matters with him, to give him support, to give him guidance, and generally have a feel of what he is doing with their matters. Now, in a situation where a lawyer is doing all of these things in a span of one day, how much do you think of importance or time or value he can provide to an overseas client who is firstly not browbeating him with his cases, since the communication is not daily, and secondly, he is not there to guide him, he is not there to assist him, he is not giving any valuable contribution, and he is actually an invisible client compared to what he has in front of him on a daily basis. So we can very well infer that the value that he will be giving or the contribution that he will be making, even if with the best of intentions, would be absolutely less than what he would be doing to probably the local cases that he represents in. So, once you understand the situation and you understand that only by hiring a lawyer, a general lawyer, your problem in India or your legal matter in India is going to be resolved, is a very tough ask, and it should not be taken in this spirit. And in fact, you have to be very proactive. You have to understand the nitty-gritties of litigating in India, and you have to act accordingly. So, how to choose the right lawyer from an overseas location? For that, you have to understand what are the 4 key elements that are very, very important for a litigation to be successful in India. These four key elements are: number one, the submissions and the briefs that the lawyer submits to court, they have to be checked by you. Before they are submitted, they have to be discussed with you. The lawyer has to give you a full reason in forms of a discussion as to what is he writing and why is he submitting that, because that is what goes to the court, and all the adjudication is done on the basis of what a lawyer submits in the court, obviously. Number two, another very key element is that what kind of information or documentation support that a client provides to a lawyer. This is the most critical part, and this is a client's responsibility, because whatever information, whatever guidance, whatever documentation you will be providing to him is what is going to substantiate your matter and is going to help him prepare the case, which is to provide evidence in your matter, to do the final arguments. The little nuances on a regular basis with your lawyer will really help to give him an overall picture, since you are just one case for him and he needs to understand the entire situation for him to be absolutely well armed and well equipped in the court. The third key element and a very important element is that, have you been able to communicate to your lawyer what is your overall agenda for this asset. So, a lot of times we do not convey to the lawyer what is it that you are really looking, what kind of solution are you really looking. Are you looking to retain that property? Are you trying to fight this litigation and claim your asset? And this is very common for NRIs. Are you trying to basically claim your inheritance or claim your asset in India because you eventually want to sell it and you do not want to retain it? So, according to the long term perspective or goal that you have for your property, your lawyer needs to understand and accordingly plan the litigation, whether an out of court settlement would be advisable, whether you would like to keep fighting and not come to any kind of compromise because you need to retain that property for whatever reason, for sentimental value or for any other reason. But you have to make sure that you and your lawyer have to be on the same page as to the desired outcome that you are looking at from this litigation. And fourth, which is very important, are you aware of what this litigation that you are fighting, this case that you are fighting is actually going to bring you at the end, and whether that end of this litigation is actually in consonance or is actually going to achieve what you think is what you need from this case. Now, why am I saying this? Is so many cases that have been filed already, and they come to us and we study what has been filed in the court, and then we discuss it at length with our clients. We realize that what is filed, and this is really surprising but true, that what is really filed in the court and what the client is really looking at as the desired outcome, they are not even matching. So, you spend your years, and I give years the most important, which is time. So, you spend your years, your effort and your time in a litigation which is not even going to get you your desired result, and that is really tragic. And that is because the lawyer that you had hired hasn't even filed what you wanted. So many times you are filing, let us say, I will give you an example. Now, you are filing for declaration of your right in a property, right. Now, you after filing that case, you are declared as an owner, but that property is in somebody's possession already, and suddenly you do get declared as an owner, but you still do not have the possession. Now, what good is a property in which, yeah, you are the owner on the paper, but do you have the property? Do you have, can you sell that property? Can you do anything with it? Because it is in somebody else's this thing. So sometimes you are just pursuing a dead horse, and years are spent on that. So, the most important thing, and I cannot stress on it, is that you must understand what exactly is the litigation. You must discuss this with your lawyer and what is it going to achieve at the end, and that should be in parity with what you want. And sometimes because the litigation takes so much time, sometimes it also, the outcomes change over the years. So, let us say your father had filed that matter and he is no longer there, and you do not need that property for exactly the same sentimental reasons that he did. So, then what is advisable is that you tell your lawyer that now you are ready for an out of court settlement or some kind of a quick compromise, because you are not looking to spend more years, more time, more effort, more money on the cases. So, these are some of the very important points that you must understand and your lawyer must understand, and you both need to be on the same page. Now, how to do this from an overseas location is the challenge. How do you? Simply by somebody recommending a lawyer, or simply by just asking, or maybe coming down and meeting a lawyer is not the right way to choose a lawyer, especially when you yourself are not present in India. So, if I were to tell you a few things that can be a guide, it is that check the ratings of the lawyer if possible, if you can. If that lawyer can provide you with some testimonials or some satisfied clients you can talk to, who can validate and who can verify the services of that lawyer, saying that yes, they have received the services and satisfactory services from that lawyer, especially to a client based overseas. And why I say is because there is a lot of difference. The people who are here can supervise, go to their lawyers regularly and communicate with them much more effectively than you can from an overseas location. So, you must hire a lawyer who has a proven track record for servicing clients overseas. It is absolutely not the same thing. It is a completely different set of services, and you must understand that you need a different level of services from the lawyers than the local residents. So, you need to have a proven track record, satisfied clients, testimonials. That is the first this thing. Second important thing is that when you have a talk with any lawyer that you are planning to hire or engage for your matters in India, suss him out by the initial consultation, and suss him out on what? Suss him out on the level of communication, how quickly they are communicating with you, and how easily they are communicating with you. It is very, very important. Third, suss him out on his knowledge on the subject. Does he understand what you are trying to get? How he was going to get you that? What is the solution, or what is the strategy that he is going to adopt? And in that initial consultation call, you will have a general feel of whether that guy that you are planning to engage for such an important thing does have a fair amount of idea of what he is talking about, and is he making enough sense, and you are understanding the sense that he is making. So, thirdly, the language. Do you have a language barrier? Now, we are filing cases all over India. So, and India is a very diverse country, and there are language barriers, there are communication barriers, and sometimes we are dealing with the second generation or the third generation of immigrants. So, the property belonged to your grandfather, but now you have come on the picture because your parents are not there, and you probably do not even understand the vernacular languages that most lawyers speak. So, if you have a language barrier right at the start, and you can assess that language barrier, then I would really advise that you should not go for that lawyer, because communication, as I have told you, is absolutely the key of a successful litigation. So, even if you can't even understand what your lawyer is saying, so there is no point going down that route, because in the end there are going to be vital miscommunications that you can absolutely very well do to avoid. So, suss him out with the communication skills. So, the other thing that you must be very aware of when you are engaging a lawyer in India is that he should be on a fixed fee module. A fixed fee would make sure that the lawyer doesn't try to unnecessarily delay your matter because he's anticipating more money, which is pretty commonsensical. So whenever you engage a lawyer in India, when you're yourself not present in India, then a fixed fee is the best option for engagement, especially where the fee is concerned. Now, another thing that you must see when you are hiring a lawyer, is he willing to take complete responsibility of the matter end to end. He will provide you the complete service, which means his in-court work, his out-of-court work, all the information, all the documentation, collection, anything that he needs to, any help that he needs for evidence or at different stages. Would he be able to take up the complete responsibility of the matter single-handedly? Only then you engage that lawyer, because you yourself are not going to be able to come and help him navigate through various stages or processes. Lastly, what if you need to access the lawyer because there is a change in circumstances? Is there a local presence in your country where you're residing? Do they have any representative there or an office there where you can quickly go and address your concerns, or can they reach out to you if there are important documents to be signed? Any kind of help or facilitation that you want, is it possible in your own country? Because at the end of the day, the service that you require is in India, but you yourself are staying outside India. So you need to have a lawyer which are willing to actually bridge this gap and give you a well encompassed, a rounded service and a comprehensive service. So these are very important things that you must see when you're engaging a lawyer for a successful litigation. And if you actually watch this and you actually adhere to this, it's very difficult for you to lose your matter in any court in India. I would only say that your just like your health, your asset, your legal services are also very important. And if you want your financials, your health, your mental stress to be minimized, then you must choose and engage a lawyer very, very carefully, and you must understand the key importance of a litigation, and only then make a very judicious decision of hiring a lawyer simply by someone recommending him and by somebody quoting a lower fee. And that is very common. People try to see that, oh, this lawyer is charging less, let's hire him or her, without understanding the level of services that you require when you are not present in India. So only on the basis of that, do not make a decision, make a careful analysis, careful decision, and only then choose the lawyer when you are yourself not in India and you are choosing him from an overseas, out of India location. Thank you.